In the Andalusian town of Alcázar, history was written in stone and resentment. For generations, the Muslim community, descendants of the original architects of the town, worshipped in the Masjid al-Salam, the Mosque of Peace, a beautiful structure of horseshoe arches and intricate stucco. The Christian community, whose families had lived there for centuries, gathered in the Iglesia de la Esperanza, the Church of Hope, its Gothic spire a defiant finger pointing to the same heaven. The two buildings stood in the Plaza de la Concordia, a name that had become a bitter joke. The communities lived side by side but not together. They traded in the market but did not break bread. Their children were warned away from each other. The Imam, a young, thoughtful man named Ibrahim, and the priest, Father Mateo, a man steeped in his community's grievances, maintained a frosty, formal distance. The unspoken rule was simple: your shadow should not touch the other's house of worship. The call to prayer and the ringing of church bells were not harmonies in the town's soundscape. They were competing declarations of ownership over the divine. The tension came to a head over a fig tree, a magnificent, ancient tree that stood precisely on the perceived boundary between the mosque's courtyard and the church's garden. Its roots were under both lands, its branches offered shade to both grounds. When the tree bore a heavy crop of sweet, purple fruit, the children of both communities would eye it, but a glare from an elder from either side was enough to keep them away. The fruit would fall and rot, a symbol of the wasted potential for shared sweetness. One summer afternoon, a tremor, a rare geological sigh, ran through the earth beneath Alcázar. It was brief, lasting only seconds, but it was potent. When the dust settled, the damage was minimal across the town, except for the Iglesia de la Esperanza. A deep, jagged crack had raced up the length of its bell tower, destabilizing the entire structure. The great bronze bell, the voice of the Christian community, hung precariously, its weight threatening to pull the tower down entirely. Father Mateo surveyed the damage, his heart sinking. The town's lone mason shook his head. "The scaffolding we have is not tall or strong enough, Father. To repair it from the outside, we need to anchor support from a point as high as the tower itself." "There is nothing." His voice trailed off as his eyes drifted across the square to the one structure that matched the tower's height, the minaret of the Masjid al-Salam. The implication hung in the air, heavier than the damaged bell. To save their church, they needed permission to use the mosque's minaret. Father Mateo's pride warred with his duty. Swallowing it, he went to Imam Ibrahim. The meeting in the mosque study was tense. "Imam," Father began, "our bell tower, it is on the verge of collapse. Our mason says the only way to secure it for repairs is to anchor a supporting beam from your minaret." Imam Ibrahim remained silent for a long moment. He could feel the weight of generations of distrust in the room. He thought of the warnings from his own community elders, their fear of the other, their desire to maintain their purity. But then he looked at the desperation in the priest's eyes, a desperation not for dogma, but for the preservation of a place his congregation loved. He remembered the story of the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, granting the Christian delegation from Najran the right to pray in his own mosque. He heard the echo of a Quranic verse he had reflected on many times: "To you be your religion, and to me my religion." Quran 109:6. It was not a verse of rejection, he realized in that moment, but a verse of peaceful coexistence. It established a boundary not to build walls, but to ensure mutual respect within which harmony could grow.